going on, you guys? It's your boy Shemaine, aka Terry McGinnis, coming at you with this Naruto 670 chapter review, The Beginning. Now, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best chapters that Kishimoto has ever written in the Naruto series. This is my opinion. You know, there's a lot of people that like nothing happened too much, all this kind of stuff, but it's the fucking Sage of Six Paths, y'all. The Sage is fucking here. The guy, the man, the myth, the legend. The person that everyone like thinks of as a god, the greatest warrior of all time. Needless to say, his mother was probably better. So it's a long chapter. I'm gonna try to read it pretty quickly, and so here we go. So Naruto wakes up and he's in the pool of water, and he's at, am I dead? Where am I? And then there's another figure in there, and he says, why do you think you're dead? You know what I mean? Like, your ethical view of death is different from my time. You must have a strong spirit to deem yourself dead so easily, newbie, bitch. And Naruto's like, oh, who are you? And the guy says, it's a realistic question in this situation, but I'm slightly worried that your opinion might differ from that of your forerunner if you hear my name. And as soon as I saw this guy's jacket, as soon as I saw the back of him, I'm like, are you serious? You gotta be kidding me. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And boom. Here he is, motherfucker. Hagaromo, the Sage of Six Paths. The Hermit of the Six Paths. Oh man, I almost woke the neighbors. I was so excited. I am the one who brought peace and order. My name is Hagaromo. And he looks like a fucking G. Fucking horns. Rinnegan, obviously, everyone knows he has Rinnegan. And then he has a third eye on his forehead, which has a Rinnegan as well. Beard all the way down here with his staff and spheres and everything. And it's just like a floating old man. That's what it says. And yeah, he's actually floating. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how's this dude sitting right there? And Naruto is so fucking confused. And I'm like, dog, even if you didn't know his first name, you should be able to tell by the sixes or nines, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what they're called. More nines, the goatee, the hair, the Rinnegan itself, the staff. Like, okay, when Obito fucking, was the Jinchuriki of the Jubi, and he had the staff, and he said, I am the Sage of Six Paths. Like, okay, this motherfucker's a fraud. Same thing with Madara. Like, did they not comprehend, like, oh, this guy might actually be the real deal? I wanted to pimp hand Naruto so bad in this chapter. Yeah, I almost threw my phone. I was so fucking mad that he couldn't just fucking think to himself, oh, you know what, maybe this is a Sage of Six Paths, and I should be polite and stuff because this is pretty much a god. And so, the sage is basically saying, yeah, I kind of expected your reaction to be like that. And then Naruto realizes, oh shit, you have the Rinnegan. And he's like, oh, you're good at observing people and stuff like that. And then he says, I hope you will also be able to understand your current condition realistically. You are not dead yet. This is the world inside your mind. I understand your impatience, but it's pointless to hurry at this moment. Therefore, and Naruto's basically not even listening to this dude. He says, this old man isn't an enemy, right? He just doesn't fucking know. And then in typical Naruto tradition, he's like, just shut up already. I can't understand the way you're talking. I'm like, dude, you just talk to the fucking Sage of Six Paths like this? Like, he could just, right there, and you would just disintegrate. So, basically, he goes on to saying that he's a transmigrant, and because he goes through time like that, basically as like a floating chakra, he's been able to see different ethical views, traditional views, just like cultural views, and just how everything is nowadays. And he can also learn new languages and stuff like that. And Naruto's still like confused. And again, in a typical Naruto tradition, shut up, will you? I don't have time to listen to this from some old weirdo. And Sage says, the pursuit of words, any kind of learning is ambiguous. If you cannot come to a mutual understanding because it's hard to find a definition. And then he says, I'll have to take into account my idealistic knowledge and materialistic thinking and speak in a simple way. Basically saying, you're too fucking stupid to understand what I have to say. And Naruto says, are you an alien or something? And the sage says, that's a bit too much. An alien? Me? Haha. I guess it also makes sense, though. And then Naruto's like, his eyes are like that big and shit like that. He said, you still don't understand? I didn't expect our conversation to be so complex. And then he says, oh no, the way you're speaking right there, it was good. It was kind of weird how it just changed all of a sudden and shit like that. Like, Oh my god, like, I'm sorry, this dude is like, damn. He's like, oh really? Then I'm gonna speak this way, okay? Yeah. But it's kind of creepy that way you speak doesn't match your face at all. And I'm like, then motherfucker, how do you want him to speak? Like, for real. And he's like, I think you should leave some of the complex feeling, or otherwise you sound like an idiot. That's what Naruto is saying. It's like, isn't that a bit too much? Who are you calling an idiot? Well, I guess that's what I get for speaking this way. Is this a little better? And then, bam. Then he says it flat out, you know. Excuse me. And Naruto's like, okay, yeah, that way is fine. He's like, oh, finally we can talk, but who are you? You know what I mean? Like, if you know about this place, can you tell me how to get out of here? And he's like, don't ask too many questions at once. I'm from the past. I'm already dead. I'm a priest who, in the form of floating chakra, traveled through generations to see what became of Nishu. He says, my name is Hagaromo, and as the founder of Nishu, I'm also known as the Sage of Six Paths, or Hermit of the Six Paths, depending on your translation. And then Naruto's finally like, oh my god, you know, the guy that, you know, Edo Seiya and Nagato always talked about. And he's like, oh, so you do know me. And he's like, you're the one who created ninjutsu in the first place, aren't you? And then he grabs his staff and he says, not ninjutsu, nishu. And I'm like, damn straight, homie. My nishu was made to create hope. Anyway, if you're that hermit, then I have many things to ask you. Which, I mean, would make sense. I mean, who wouldn't want to ask him? And then he slams his staff into the ground. And now from like Naruto's feet within the water, an image comes out, and he says, you remind me of my son, Ashura. Now the name itself, it's like almost like Ashura. It's like Ashura. Like, I don't know. I don't really know how to pronounce it yet, so I'm just going to say Ashura. Ashura. Fuck it, you know, whatever. He says, anyway, now is the right time. I'm assuming meaning he's going to go ahead and explain, like, way back what happened and all that kind of stuff. He says, there's something I must entrust with you. Ashura, stop saying weird things, just get me out of here. And he's like, that's something I can't do. It depends on the people outside do with you. I can only tell you. Once again, I can't understand. The point is now that it's useless for you to fret. Therefore, I'll ask you. No, you must ask me, first of all, about my mother and sons. And he slams his staff into the ground, and out another image comes out, and it's his mother, who looks like a demon. And he starts to go about his past and, you know, how the thing started to get created. He's like, my mother, Kaguya Otsutsuki, came to your... I'll probably butcher the shit out of that. Came to your land from a faraway place. She came to pick the fruit of the holy tree. It's the holy tree that you saw in this war. Its fruit is made of chakra. That's my dog in the background. Kaguya ate the fruit, and with the power she gained, she could rule over this land. He's like, where does she come from? Is she stronger than you? It's true that it's funny that it's true that mothers are scary when they're angry. He's like, where she came from is not important. She was strong, stronger than anyone else. But I do want to know where she came from. Did she come from? Because if she's like ruling over this land, does it mean the entire world? So does that mean a faraway place? Did she come from, like the heavens or outer space or some shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to know that. So people used to call my mother the rabbit goddess or demon. They worshipped and feared her. Kaguya gave birth to 2 children. I was one of them. To repent for our mother's sins, my brother and I fought against the Jubi that was the incarnation of the holy tree and sealed it inside of us. The holy tree struggled to get back the chakra fruit that was stolen from it. So I'm guessing because she stole the fruit, then it gave birth to the Jubi, or since it's actually the incarnation of the tree itself, either the tree turned into the Jubi or something of that nature and tried to attack and kill them. So, give payback for stealing fruit. One thing that I find interesting in this panel, big-ass panel, of them fighting the Jubi, is that Hagaromo's staff is different from his brother's. Hagaromo has a staff with the rings, and his brother has something that looks like a pickaxe. Also, his brother's hair is way out here, like Madara's is. So, that's pretty interesting. He said, later on, I also had 2 children, and also one of his sons has the same hair as him, and the other one has really long hair like his brother. So I called the older brother Indra and the younger brother Ashura, and I taught them Nishu. However, they had one big difference. One of them had my strong chakra and genes, and one of them didn't. The difference was extreme. And, Naruto was like, okay, I'm not really understanding it anymore. And he's like, okay, basically, you dumb shit, the excellent older brother Indra, Sasuke, and the no good brother Ashura, Naruto, right? This just screams Naruto and Sasuke so hard. And then Naruto looks down, he's like, no good, huh? Even though he was a sage of the 6 paths, he's starting to, have that connection. And he says, maybe I shouldn't say this, but No matter how excellent the parents are, the child doesn't necessarily inherit their whole potential. I think you know something about that. And there's a picture of Minato and Kushina. And he says, since you are very much the same, right, Naruto? Now, there's a couple things. One, he actually knows this guy's name. Like, if I was Naruto, I would be honored if he knew my name. And two, because, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I'm thinking. Because he's a transcendent chakra, or transmigrated chakra that can go into, like, people's worlds and stuff, then he must have had access to that person's memories and stuff. Because if Naruto's making that connection, and the sage made the connection himself, besides what we're going to find out really soon, then that means that he's have to know, like, okay, I've seen everything that you have done, and you are very similar to my son in that regard. Being that love and all that stuff. He's like, I kind of had that feeling, Naruto's a little depressed, and the sage smiles, and I'm like, that's tight. He's like, you really remind me of Ashura. The things you did too. Right there. Boom. So I'm guessing that he actually does have access to his memories and, all that stuff. And Naruto's like, huh? The things I did? He's like, Indra and Ashura walked different paths. Indra, since birth, had powerful eyes and battle sense. Which goes back to way back in the day when, like, Madara and Obito, learning from Madara, said that one brother had the sage's eyes and battle prowess, and the other one had his body, his physical and spiritual energy, and his love. And, basically saying that he did everything on his own accord, and with his power, he could make anything come true. On the other hand, Ashura could never do anything never do anything well since he was a child. He couldn't do anything on his own. To have the same power as his brother, he needed much effort and to have the cooperation of other people. Naruto and Sasuke. I mean, it fucking screams it in your face. By suffering and training hard, the chakra within his body bloomed and he gained the same power as brother. The same shit Naruto has been doing all the way up until now. He could also understand that cooperation and the help of others is what made him strong. He understood what it meant to care for people and realized that love can make anything true. In that way, Ashura lived and I saw a new possibility. I broke up the power of the Jubi that was inside of me and gave its name to parts. Basically going back to, that famous, with him standing in the middle and all the tailed beasts and they're all babies and stuff like that. He said, I believe the relationship called cooperation was the real power. Which it goes back to what Naruto has been doing his whole life. Cooperation, working hard no matter what circumstances, love, caring for one another and whatnot. And there's two panels right here where Naruto just kind of looks down, and the next one he smiles, realizing that, this is what I've been doing my whole life, and I'm glad that, the fucking one of the gods basically that wanted this. And he said, I also made Ashura the successor of Nishu so that everyone could, so he could lead everyone basically to peace, happiness, and all that stuff, tranquility. And thought his brother Indra would cooperate too. However, and Naruto's like, what? It's like, Indra didn't accept that, and that was the start. And in this panel where he's in the image of the water, he really looks like Madara. He says, and that was the start of a long war. And we see a Susanoo and a Kyuubi, almost like what Naruto uses in his Bijuu mode. And stuff like that, except it has a shitload more hands. It's like, even though their bodies were destroyed, their chakra didn't vanish and transmigrated over time. Endlessly. So basically, same thing like Sage of Six Paths. So it's just from one person to another, from one person to another. So what I want to know is, in that battle or in that war, did they kill themselves? Or not kill themselves. Did they kill each other? Or did one of them die and then, the other one died shortly after? That's what I'm wondering. So, and Naruto says, that's kind of like being possessed by a ghost. So who are they possessing now? Just kind of, eh. And the sage goes, you, Naruto. And the last panel, Naruto's like, what? He says, the younger brother Ashura reincarnated into you. Bam! Wow. So basically, Naruto is Ashura and Ashura is Naruto. So everything Naruto has been doing up until this point, not even up until this point, everything he's been doing is the same thing Ashura did basically back in the day, but in a new, environment. That's so fucking crazy to me. That's like, wow. Everyone was saying that he was the Sage of Six Paths, reincarnation. But no, he's actually the Sage's son. And now the question is, who is the other son? Obviously, 99. I bet you $100 it's Sasuke. $100 fucking dollars it's Sasuke. That stuff is really cool to me. It really is. It just ties together a bunch of stuff from way in the beginning. So now when Naruto eventually dies, it's crazy because I'm wondering, is it just gonna be Ashura that just keeps going through time, or is it gonna go from Ashura to Naruto, and then Naruto's going to reincarnate someone else. Something similar like that. But Yeah, I thought this chapter was fantastic. It was phenomenal. I loved every single fucking word in this fucking thing. So, what I'm expecting is, from my last video, I said we're gonna see a little bit more action with Guy, and obviously Naruto's gonna wake up and talk to somebody. I didn't realize it was gonna be the fucking Sage. So this reminds me of the conversation between Hashirama and Sasuke way back in the day. So it's gonna go on for a while. I'm assuming we're gonna get a lot of conversation, which to me that's absolutely fine. Anything with this dude, it's the fucking Sage, man. Like let me hear him speak. I will sit back with popcorn and I'd listen to him all day, every day. So that's pretty much gonna do it for me. I'm expecting a lot more conversation with Naruto and the Sage, kind of explaining all this stuff. But the one thing that I want to know is, what is he gonna entrust Naruto with? Like, I don't think Naruto is gonna get an ocular power of some sort, because I don't think Ashura would have ever wanted that, because he obviously knows what it's capable of doing, the destruction and stuff like that. So, what is the Sage gonna entrust him with? Maybe the Sage will go into him, like, both of their chakras of the young boy, or not the young boy, his son and the Sage might combine together and give Naruto like super, I don't know, a big power up. But yeah, so who is the other reincarnation of Indra? I'm betting it's Sasuke. And what is the Sage going to entrust Naruto with? So that's gonna do it for me, you guys. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comment section below. Fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.